Hey, deep divers. So, I was reading this paper. It's called Jhon 17, Divine Unity, Cosmic Resonance, and Fractal Faith.
Oh, interesting.
And I just thought, wow, this is wild. Like, we got to deep dive into this together.
I know, right? There's so much to unpack.
Yeah. And it takes this passage, Jhon 17,
Uh-huh.
and it connects it to, like, some crazy ideas from physics and cosmology. We're talking about things like, divine resonance, fractal faith,
Yeah.
even something about junk DNA.
Yeah.
So, yeah, buckle up.
Yeah, this is going to be a wild ride for sure.
It's going to be a fascinating ride.
Yeah, what I think is really fascinating is that it doesn't look at Jhon 17 as just a prayer.
Right.
Like most people, when they read Jhon 17, they think of it as the high priestly prayer.
Yeah.
It's Jesus, talking to God.
Yeah.
But this paper is saying it's more than that.
Right.
It's like a declaration of something much, much deeper, a sort of cosmic resonance between Jesus and God that actually affects the whole universe, not just
Oh, wow.
the people listening to him at the time.
Okay, yeah, so it's not just Jesus asking for things.
Exactly. It's more like he's revealing a truth about reality itself. This connection goes way beyond just the spiritual realm.
Uh-huh.
In fact, they even bring in a theory about how gravity works to illustrate this connection.
Okay.
Now, stay with me here.
Okay.
The theory suggests that gravity may not actually be an attractive force, but a product of resonance between what they call the subtle magnetic field and the relative vacuum of space.
Okay, so wait, remind me what those are again. I'm getting lost in the acronyms.
Of course. So the subtle magnetic field, or SMF, think of that as like the spiritual forces in the universe, and the relative vacuum of space, or RVS.
Yeah.
Think of that as the field of all possibility, all the potential that exists.
Gotcha.
So the theory suggests that these two things,
the
SMF and the RVS, are constantly interacting, resonating with each other.
Okay.
And that's what creates the force we experience as gravity.
So like a cosmic dance between spiritual forces and infinite potential.
That is a great way to put it.
Yes.
Yes. Now, the paper takes this idea and applies it to Jhon 17, suggesting that Jesus, being perfectly aligned with God's will, acts like a conduit for that divine power, just like gravity is a conduit for those forces in the universe.
So, like, Jesus is a perfectly tuned instrument resonating with God's frequency.
Yes.
And that's how he does miracles.
Exactly. He's able to tap into that power because of that resonance.
But then they go even further and say that this resonance, like, predates creation.
Right. And that's where things get even more interesting.
Okay.
Remember that line in Jhon 17 where Jesus says he had glory with the Father before the world began? The paper points to that as evidence that this divine resonance was present even before the universe as we know it existed.
Oh.
Which suggests a purposeful creation, right?
Yeah.
Driven by this connection.
Yeah, that's a big idea. It makes you wonder if, like, the universe was designed for this resonance.
Yeah.
But what does it mean for us,
Well, that's a great question.
We're not Jesus walking on water.
Exactly. That's where this idea of faith as alignment comes in.
Okay.
The paper focuses on that line in Jhon 17 about knowing God being the key to eternal life.
Right.
And they suggest that knowing isn't just like an intellectual understanding.
Right.
It's about aligning ourselves with God's frequency.
Okay.
It's like, those tuning forks. They vibrate in harmony.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Okay, I'm trying to picture this.
Yeah.
So it's not just about believing in God.
It's about more than that.
It's about, like, vibrating at the same level.
Exactly. It's about aligning yourself.
How does that even work?
Well, it's a pretty radical idea.
Yeah.
But the paper suggests that our very being, even our DNA, is designed to resonate with this divine frequency.
Now you're talking. So how does DNA fit into all of this?
Well, they talk about junk DNA, which is the part of our DNA that scientists used to think was useless.
Right.
But they suggest that it could actually be a kind of receiver for these divine frequencies.
Whoa. So all that junk
is
our connection to the divine. That's crazy.
It is pretty wild. And they connect this to the idea that our bodies, like the universe itself, are built on these fractal patterns.
Yeah.
Galaxies, planetary alignments, even the structure of ourselves. They all exhibit these self-similar patterns at different scales.
Right.
And the paper argues that this junk DNA might be what allows us to resonate with those patterns ultimately connecting us to God.
So when Jesus prays for his followers to be one, not just with each other, but with him and God, is he calling them to, like, tune into that ultimate frequency?
That's exactly what they're suggesting.
And that lets them do.
Yeah, it enables them to do amazing things.
Amazing things.
Because they're tapping into that power source.
Yeah. It's like a blueprint for unlocking our potential.
Yeah, Jesus is giving us the keys to the kingdom, so to speak.
Yeah.
But remember, oneness in this context doesn't mean we all become like identical, like clones.
Yeah.
It's more like a symphony.
Yes.
Each instrument has a role.
Exactly.
But together, it's beautiful.
A perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Oneness in John 17 isn't about uniformity.
Right.
It's about a harmonious unity within a larger fractal structure. Like individual notes in a song. Yeah. Each one unique, but contributing to the larger whole.
Okay, so we've got this divine resonance, fractal faith, junk DNA as a cosmic receiver.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
This is pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
Where do we go from here? Well, that's a great question.
Does the paper tell us how to actually tap into this frequency, this oneness?
It does. And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
They suggest that there's a system of spiritual nodes that correspond to planetary nodes.
Hold on, planetary nodes. Is this where things get a little astrological?
Well, it's not quite astrology in the traditional sense.
Okay.
Think of it more like cosmic chakras.
Okay.
For example, the sun, they link that to the third eye chakra, which governs divine knowledge. Neptune is connected to eyesight. But in a spiritual sense, the ability to perceive beyond the material realm.
So each planet has its own unique spiritual energy.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
And by aligning ourselves with that energy, we can enhance those aspects of ourselves.
That's the idea.
Okay.
And the paper ties this back to Jesus' prayer for unity, suggesting it's not just about being one with each other, but aligning ourselves with this cosmic order, these planetary nodes that act like a blueprint for spiritual growth.
Wow, I'm seeing John 17 in a whole new light.
I know, it's pretty amazing, right?
We've gone from a prayer to cosmic resonance, fractal faith, and now planetary chakras. My head's spinning.
It's a lot to take in.
What else does this paper have for us?
Well, remember all that talk about resonance and frequencies?
Yeah.
They actually connect all of this to quantum physics.
Quantum physics, like Schrodinger's cat, and particles being in multiple places at once.
Exactly.
How does that fit into all of this?
That is an excellent question, and one that we will delve into further in a part 2 of our deep dive into John 17.
Okay.
So stay tuned for more.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild ride.
Awesome. Okay, so last time we were talking about this paper on John 17, and man, it took us down this rabbit hole of cosmic resonance, fractal faith.
Yeah.
Even planetary nodes as spiritual chakras.
It's a lot, I know.
Yeah, but we left off on this cliffhanger about quantum physics.
Yeah, that's where things get really...
I am ready to dive into this quantum realm.
Me too, let's do it.
All right, are you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It might seem like a big jump
to
go from, like, a biblical text to quantum physics.
Yeah.
But the paper draws these really fascinating parallels between the two.
Okay.
It starts by bringing back that theory about the subtle magnetic field, the SMF, and the relative vacuum of space, the RVS.
Right, those were the forces that resonate to create gravity.
Exactly.
But how do they connect that to quantum physics?
Well, they suggest we can think of the SMF as representing spiritual forces and the RVS as the field of infinite potential, which aligns really well with some of the core concepts in quantum physics.
Right.
Quantum physics suggests that, like, reality isn't fixed, that there are all these possibilities existing all at the same time.
Right.
Which is kind of like what the RVS represents.
So the universe is like this giant quantum soup of possibilities. And spiritual forces are like interacting with it, shaping reality.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
That's a wild idea.
It is. And then they bring in this concept called the February knot factor.
Oh, yeah, the February knot factor.
Yeah, which the theory says governs the fractal patterns of divine energy.
Okay.
So it determines how divine energy flows through the universe, creating those repeating patterns we see everywhere, from galaxies to our own DNA.
Okay, I gotta be honest with you. I'm a little lost. On this whole February knot factor thing.
I know,
it sounds very complicated.
It's a complex concept.
Yeah.
Even within theoretical physics.
Yeah.
But what's important for our deep dive is that the paper uses it to highlight this idea that there's an underlying order.
Okay.
to the universe, a kind of blueprint for how divine energy manifests.
Yeah.
And it's all based on resonance and frequency.
So it's like this February knot factor is like the architect of creation, shaping the universe according to these resonant patterns.
Exactly. And here's where the paper takes a really interesting turn.
Okay.
It argues that Jesus, in his prayer for oneness in John 17, is tapping into this quantum level of reality. He's talking about a unity that transcends the limits of our physical world.
Okay.
Just like quantum entanglement suggests that particles can be connected across vast distances.
I remember learning about entanglement.
Yeah.
It's like two particles, even light years apart, can somehow influence each other instantly.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah. Are you saying there's a connection between that and what Jesus is praying for?
That's exactly what the paper is suggesting.
Wow.
It's as if Jesus is saying that we are all interconnected on this deep quantum level.
Okay.
And that through aligning ourselves with God, we can access that interconnectedness. It's like the paper is saying that consciousness itself might be a quantum phenomenon.
Whoa, that's a profound thought.
It is.
So through faith, through resonating with God, we can tap into the infinite potential of the universe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
That's mind-blowing.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's a very powerful idea.
Yeah.
But the paper doesn't just present it as like a theoretical concept.
Right.
It emphasizes that John 17 isn't just a mystical prayer.
Okay.
It's a blueprint for spiritual transformation. It's suggesting that we can unlock incredible possibilities by aligning ourselves with God's will and tapping into that divine resonance.
You know, it makes me think about the end of John 17.
Yeah.
Where Jesus talks about making God known so God's love can be in us.
Huh.
Could that be what he's talking about?
That's a very interesting thought.
Not just like a feeling.
Yeah.
But an actual energetic shift.
Yeah, a quantum leap in consciousness.
Yeah,
that's very possible.
Wow, so it's like we all have this untapped potential,
Yeah.
this ability to experience reality in a new way.
Exactly. We all have that potential within us.
But how do we access it?
Well, that's the question.
Does the paper tell us how?
It does.
Okay.
Remember those planetary nodes we talked about?
Yeah.
It suggests that those nodes act like spiritual chakras.
Right.
Each one vibrating at a specific frequency.
Okay.
And by focusing our attention on those nodes, we can enhance our connection to the divine and cultivate specific spiritual qualities.
So for example, if I wanted to develop my intuition, I could meditate on the sun.
Yeah.
The planetary node linked to the third eye.
Exactly.
Divine knowledge.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a great way to work with the sun's energy.
Okay.
Or if you want to strengthen your spiritual perception, you might spend time near a body of water.
Interesting.
Connecting with the element of water.
Yeah, right.
Which is associated with Neptune, the planet of seeing beyond the material world.
This is energy work.
It is. Yeah.
Are there techniques the paper recommends?
This doesn't go into specific techniques.
Okay.
But it emphasizes that the most important thing is to find what resonates with you. Whether it's meditation, yoga, chanting, or even just spending time in nature. The key is to find practices that help you feel more connected. Yeah. More aligned with that divine frequency.
So it's about experimentation.
Yeah, exactly.
Finding what works for you.
That's right. We all have our own unique path. Yeah. Our own way of connecting to the divine.
Right.
The paper encourages us to be open to trying new things.
Yeah.
Trust our intuition. And be guided by that inner wisdom.
I love that.
It's an exciting journey.
It is. It's about taking ownership.
Yeah.
And not being afraid to explore.
Exactly.
But what about results?
Yeah.
Does the paper talk about what we can expect to see?
Well, the paper is careful not to make promises.
Okay.
Because spiritual growth is a process, not a destination.
Right.
But it does suggest that as we align ourselves with God's frequency, as we cultivate that divine resonance, we'll start to notice these subtle shifts in our perception, our awareness, even in our experiences in the physical world.
So the more we tune in, the more we might see those
those little miracles.
Real miracles.
Synchronicities, things falling into place.
Yeah, where you're like, whoa, the universe is working with me.
Exactly. And it's not just about those external miracles.
Right.
It's about that inner transformation, the deepening sense of peace, joy, connection that comes from aligning with our true selves.
It's about becoming more of who we are.
Exactly.
More of that, like, loving, radiant being at our core.
Yes.
Yeah, that's powerful.
It is. And here's something else the paper emphasizes.
Okay.
We're not alone in this.
Right.
We're all connected, right?
Yeah.
Like we were talking about with quantum entanglement.
Uh-huh.
On a deep level, we're all part of this web of consciousness.
Right. So as we each do our own inner work, raise our vibration, we contribute to the collective awakening of humanity.
That's beautiful. It's like we're all part of this grand cosmic orchestra.
Yes.
And the more of us who tune in, the more beautiful the music.
Exactly. And that music, that harmony has the power to heal, to transform, uplift, not only ourselves, but the whole planet.
Wow. I'm feeling really inspired.
Me too.
We started with this paper about Jhon 17.
Yeah.
And look where we are.
I know.
Cosmic resonance, quantum physics, the power of intention.
It's been quite a journey.
Yeah, what a journey.
It has. And it's not over yet.
Oh, right.
In part 3, we're going to bring all of these ideas back down to earth and explore some practical ways you can apply these concepts to your own life.
Awesome.
And potentially make a difference in the world.
Right, can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm excited. Okay, deep divers, we've made it. Part 3 of our deep dive into Jhon 17.
Here we are.
We've gone through the cosmic resonance, the quantum connections, the spiritual chakras.
It's been quite a journey.
Yeah, but now I'm wondering, how do we live this stuff?
Right, how do we actually take it from the theoretical to the practical?
Yeah.
And thankfully, the paper does offer some practical guidance.
Okay.
And it starts with intention.
Okay.
Remember how we were talking about the subtle magnetic field, the SMF?
Yeah, representing those spiritual forces.
Right, and our thoughts and intentions are like magnets too.
Okay.
They can attract or repel those forces.
So if we want to align with God's frequency, we got to start with our thoughts.
Exactly. It's about making that conscious choice.
Okay.
To focus on thoughts that are loving, compassionate, and aligned with our highest good.
So it's more than just like positive thinking.
It's deeper than that, yeah.
It's like cultivating this awareness
of
our thoughts, our beliefs, choosing the ones that
that support our spiritual growth.
Yeah. It's like a mental detox.
Yeah.
Clearing out the negativity.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearing out that space.
Yeah.
To make room for the divine to work.
Yeah. And the paper talked about meditation, mindfulness.
Exactly.
Prayer.
Yeah, those practices are so helpful.
Yeah, they can help quiet the mind.
Yeah, they help us become aware of those thoughts. Cultivating a deeper connection to ourselves.
Yeah.
And that inner space is where we connect with the divine.
You know, I've been trying to meditate more.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm noticing a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel calmer.
That's wonderful.
More centered. But what about those planetary nodes?
Right.
How do we actually work with those energies?
Right, because it still feels kind of out there, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, well, the paper suggests that each planetary node has a unique vibration that we can tune into through focused attention.
Okay.
And there's different ways to do this. Visualization, affirmations, or even just spending time in nature.
Okay.
Connecting with the elements associated with each planet.
So, like, if I wanted to boost my intuition, could I, like, visualize myself surrounded by sunlight?
Yes.
Feeling the warmth, the energy of the sun?
Exactly. That's a great way to work with the sun's energy.
Okay.
Because it's linked to that divine knowledge.
Right. Or if I'm, working on my spiritual perception, I might go to the ocean.
Yes, exactly. Spend some time by the water.
Connect with that element.
Yeah, connecting with that element of water.
Yeah.
That's associated with Neptune.
Right.
The planet of seeing beyond the physical realm.
This sounds a lot like energy work.
It is, yeah.
Does the paper, recommend any specific techniques?
It doesn't get into specific techniques.
Okay.
But it emphasizes that the most important thing is to find what resonates with you.
Right. Okay.
So whether it's meditation, yoga, chanting, simply spending time in nature.
Yeah.
The key is to find practices that help you feel connected, aligned with that divine frequency.
So it's about, like, experimenting.
Exactly.
Finding what works for you.
Yeah, finding your own unique rhythm within that cosmic symphony.
I love that. So it's about taking ownership of our spiritual growth.
Yeah.
Not being afraid to explore.
Exactly.
But I have to ask, what about, like, results?
Right.
Does the paper say anything about what we can expect?
Well, the paper is careful not to make promises.
Right, of course.
Spiritual growth is a process, not a destination.
Right.
But it does suggest that as we align ourselves with God's frequency, as we cultivate that divine resonance, we'll start to notice subtle shifts in our perception, our awareness, even in our experiences in the physical world.
So the more we tune in, the more we might see those little miracles, those synchronicities, those moments where you're just like...
like, whoa, what? The universe is working with me.
Yeah.
And it's not just about those external miracles.
Right.
It's about that inner transformation. The deepening sense of peace, joy, connection.
Right.
That comes from aligning with our true selves.
It's about becoming more of who we are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's powerful stuff.
It is.
And something else the paper talks about is that we're not alone in this.
We are not alone.
We're all connected, like quantum entanglement.
Yes, we are all part of that web of consciousness.
So as we each do our own inner work, we actually contribute to that collective awakening.
We raise the vibration of the whole.
Wow, that's a beautiful thought.
It is beautiful.
It's like we're all part of this, like cosmic orchestra.
The grand cosmic orchestra.
And the more of us who tune in, the more beautiful the music.
Exactly. And that music, that harmony, has the power to heal, to transform, and uplift not only ourselves, but the whole planet.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm feeling really inspired by all this.
Me too. It's very inspiring.
We started with this paper about Jhon 17.
I know. And look where we ended up.
Look where we are.
Yeah.
Cosmic resonance, quantum physics, the power of intention.
Yeah, it's amazing how connected it all is.
What a journey.
It has been quite a journey.
Thank you so much for taking us on this deep dive.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It's been amazing. And to all our deep divers out there, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep tuning into that divine frequency within yourselves.
That's it. That's the key.
Awesome. Take care.